Right now at 6, new details about the search for a missing kayaker who tumbled some 40 feet over Willamette Falls in the dark.
I don't know what kind of lighting he had with him, if any.
Plus, a busy start to the year for rescue teams in one southwest Washington county with a record number of calls for help.
Nearly every week, every other week. It's very unusual.
They're warning as the weather warms up and people head outdoors.
Then, how Providence is creating a safe place for survivors of violence to get the care they need.
We don't often get to experience purely positive feelings in this work, but we are today.
And later in sports, the Chauncey Billups era extended in Rip City. What the Blazers are saying about their head coach's future in Portland.
Good evening, everyone, on this glorious April Monday. Right now, 75 degrees in the Rose City, from the coast to the Cascades and everywhere in between. It seems like it's been nothing but blue sky and sunshine.
And if you're loving the weather today, you're going to really love what's in store for the rest of the week. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino up on the KGW weather deck for us. Matt, look at that, soaking up some sun.
Yeah, why not, right? I mean, it is just a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. And warm. I mean, it's the warmest day we've had in a while. We did make the 80s back in March, but again, this is really, really good stuff. To my north, I can easily see Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. The visibility is great with this very, very dry air. Let's take you up to Mount Hood right now, which is also experiencing a warm up. Temperature up on the mountain at 6,000 feet is well into the 40s, 49 as a matter of fact, and we might see 50 there tomorrow as the warmest air begins to push a little bit to the east, but don't worry. We still have plenty of warm weather coming our way. Let's check out the high temperatures that we had today. 77 the number in Portland. That is not a record, but as you'll see, it's close. Way closer to the record high than the average high. We even had 70s on the north coast, 80s down in the Umpqua and Rogue Valleys, Roseburg and Medford, 60s and 70s over in eastern Oregon. So just a beautiful, beautiful day. So again, 77 the high, the record 84 set way back in 1947. So we're capable of getting very warm this year. We just don't do it all that often. Rainfall for the month is lagging behind a bit, but we're still above average since the 1st of October and when the rainy season began. So we're in good shape as far as that all goes. Now, what's coming up? That's what everybody wants to know, right? Well, there's a whole lot more of this. The Reserve Golf Course right now sitting at 74 degrees at 6 p.m. Our forecast, warm all week long, okay? Now, we'll see temperatures moderate and modify a few degrees here and there, but we're still going to be running 10 to 15 degrees above average all week long. The cool down comes over Easter weekend, especially on Easter Sunday. We'll talk more about the timing of the rain showers that are on the way. You know, this can't last forever. We're getting a week, though, of 70-degree weather. It's hard to argue about when it ends. Guys?
No, it doesn't get much better than that, that's for sure. Thanks, Matt.
You bet.
Developing tonight, the search continues for a missing kayaker who went over Willamette Falls this weekend.
Tonight, there are new and harrowing details from witnesses about how this appears to have unfolded. Louis Dowsett with the update from Morgan City.
The Clackamas County Sheriff's Marine Unit says it was people camping near the railroad tracks in Oregon City who spotted a kayaker in distress just before 11 p.m. Saturday night. Witnesses heard yelling and spotted the 20-year-old California man trying to row himself to safety.
As the call taker was on the phone with the reporting party, they were describing him paddling and struggling, and then describing him going over the falls. So as they were in the middle of the 911 call, that's when he went over.
The Marine unit saying the man was staying at a floating rental home near the Willamette Falls viewpoint in Oregon City. Residents there, surprised they didn't hear anyone, head out.
And I was up well before 10. I was up at 10:52, I think is when they said the call went in. And then I fell asleep, and then the next thing I know, 1 o'clock, maybe slightly after, the helicopters.
Coast Guard helicopters and law enforcement aircraft helped in the search. Marine crews looking for the victim in the river all the way to the Selwood Bridge. Investigators are still piecing together why the man headed out on the river so late.
There are a lot of signs warning that there's a waterfall ahead in this section of the river. Most are 6 to 8 feet tall. I don't know what kind of lighting he had with him, if any.
The Marine unit says the summertime buoys and diversions are not in the water at the falls yet. It's too early in the season, but even if they were, they aren't meant to stop people from going over. The Marine unit sergeant telling me in all his years of law enforcement, he's never seen anyone accidentally fall over these falls. And he said the man's body could still be in the falls, trapped underwater near the rocks. Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
In your headlines, an early morning house fire in Salem has left one person without a home. It was reported around 4 o'clock this morning on Ratcliffe Drive in South Central Salem. When firefighters arrived, they saw flames coming from the house. The person living there, as well as their dog, got out safely. The home was declared a total loss, and the cause of the fire is under investigation.
A Hawaii man accused of mowing down a flock of seagulls on a Washington beach last summer has now been sentenced to nearly 2 months in jail. 64-year-old James Travis pleaded guilty last week to charges of animal cruelty and reckless driving. Witnesses say he deliberately sped into the birds near Long Beach, killing 25 and nearly hit 2 people walking their dogs.
Washington Governor Bob Ferguson says the Trump administration has denied his funding request to help with recovery from November's bomb cyclone. The storm, you may recall, killed 2 people, and for some people in western Washington, it knocked out power for a week. It caused an estimated $34 million in damage. Back in January, the governor applied to get reimbursed for 75% of disaster-related costs for things like road and utility repairs. He says FEMA denied the request with no explanation. In a statement, the governor called it troubling, saying, quote, Washington communities have been waiting for months for the resources they need to fully recover from last winter's devastating storms, and this decision will cause further delay. We will appeal.
And Oregon's Department of Environmental Quality says its vehicle inspection stations are securely back online after a cyber attack forced them to shut down. Some drivers, you might remember, pulled up to emissions testing stations on Thursday and Friday, only to find them closed with no clear timeline on reopening. Stations in southern Oregon were back online today. Those in the Portland area are set to reopen tomorrow for regular hours. Now keep in mind, DEQ 2 stations remain closed. In Southeast Asia, now more than 3,600 people have died, with 5,000 more injured following last month's earthquake in Myanmar, with shaking and damage felt as far away as the Thai capital.
While people there try to recover and rebuild, 2 Portlanders with family in Myanmar are drumming up support. Ashley Grams has their story.
Moments after last month's earthquake in Southeast Asia,
I was not able to sleep, and then I saw the news comes up. Boom, immediately 7.7 earthquake. So I immediately think about my family, what happened there.
Francis Kam lives in Portland, but his family is in Myanmar.
The next day, fortunately, they find a way to text me that they are still alive.
He's thankful for their safety, but says many are struggling without basic necessities.
Electricity is cut off, the food, transportation, and everything is cut off. So it's kind of like they're very, very difficult situation right now.
Electricity and internet connection, everything is shut down over there.
KP says his brothers and sisters are also in Myanmar.
My family that is safe, but we worry about that and a victim. How can we help that people?
He says the country is already facing political instability and civil unrest. Both men are raising money to support those impacted by the quake.
What can we do for the needy community across the globe?
Kam moved to the U.S. as a refugee.
Exactly next month in May, I will be like 10 years in the U.S.
Saying he left his home country because of discrimination and religious persecution. Now he's part of the Zomi Catholic community of Portland, planning to support the church community across the globe through a GoFundMe.
The Archdiocese of the Mandalay, which the bishops appeal to the world to support for relief and rebuilding.
KP also leads a Zomi organization, Zomi Inquan, Portland, Oregon. They're focused on supporting local Zomi people and honoring cultural traditions.
We try to do some awareness and then contribution for that earthquake victim.
He's raising funds at a few upcoming events, but both say even a message of support will make a difference.
Even like a send or your message, like, be strong. Just a word will make a lot of life different.
In Portland, Ashley Grams, KGW News.
There is a shakeup among top leadership at the Oregon State Hospital after a recent patient death.
The psychiatric hospital in Salem has been under scrutiny for patient safety, with 21 deaths reported over the last 5 years, including a patient who died in a seclusion room just last month. The interim superintendent of the hospital just resigned last week. Now Governor Kotek has tapped the former Oregon Health Authority CFO Dave Baden to take over. Coming up tonight at 6:30 on The Story, a closer look at what led up to that recent patient death and what the leadership change could mean for the hospital's future. Meanwhile, Providence held the grand opening of a brand new clinic today, one that is dedicated to helping survivors of violence.
Daisy Caballero is live in Northeast Portland at the clinic with the details. Daisy.
Yeah, David, Christine. Yeah, we are here. The Safe Center is actually inside of the Providence Office Park, right behind me off Northeast Halsey and 45th Avenue here in Northeast Portland. Now here, survivors will be able to receive medical help they need that's not an ER. And the clinic's mission is in the name itself, which stands for service, accessibility, fortitude, and empowerment. It is devoted to helping people who've experienced sexual, physical, or psychological violence. The center will have highly trained medical providers and clinicians 24/7. We spoke with the center's program manager, who says this center has already helped people.
It's absolutely critical. After enduring something that can be so violent and traumatic, knowing that there's a space that is dedicated just for them, that isn't an emergency department that can often feel really overwhelming, I think it's absolutely crucial to the journey of healing, really.
The SAFE team previously only responded to emergency departments to provide care for victims. The center now has 3 exam rooms, and thanks to the state's Assault Victims Emergency Medical Response Fund, these services will be available for everyone, regardless of their ability to pay. And for those that are going to be seeking or wanting to seek these services, you can either walk in or call that number that's on your screen right now. Back to you guys.
Appreciate you spreading the word about this new resource. Thank you, Daisy.